What's good, Panther Nation? It's your boy Myron McRae, aka Tornado McRae, across the skies of the internet, here with another episode of Panther Pride TV. Your one-stop shop for all your Panther notifications and your Panther obligations. Happy Monday to y'all. Hope you are having a good Monday. Hope everything's going smooth for you. Hope it's the start of another week, man. So hopefully everything going good for you. If the kiddos are going to school, hey, to y'all in school, hey, welcome back to school, man. Hope you have a good school year. And honestly, I do also want to give a shout out to everybody who joined me in my Discord on Friday to watch the game. I greatly appreciate y'all joining in there. I thought playback was going to give me an option to do so, but they haven't gotten the NFL option checked out yet. So had to watch the game, had to show y'all the game the other way. So from now on, for at least for the time being, I'll be doing the watch parties on Discord, and we can join and link up there. But guys, with all that being said, we're going to get into the game. As we saw, with Cleveland Browns won 30-10. We're going to get to the good, the bad, and the ugly, both on offense, defense, and just overall what I thought about the game. And so when it comes down to it, here's my first thought. First up, honestly, is going to be the offense. So some key offensive notes, mostly from the first string and what I saw. Bryce Young, he went 4 of 6 with 58 yards passing and a touchdown to Coke Zero himself, Jalen Coker, which I actually do love that nickname now, and I'm going to go with that going forward for Coker. As Coker, he had 2 receptions on 4 targets for 15 yards with that TD. He actually had another really nice catch, but it got taken away on a penalty. So he really should have 3 on 5, but because they were offsetting penalties and whatnot, they took that catch away. T-Mac, he went 2 for 5. He had 2 catches on 5 targets for 43 yards. And he had a really nice, Bryce put a really nice bread basket catch for him on the sideline if you saw it on a go route. And T-Mac did a great job of making sure he had space on the sideline, could find himself, was able to toe drag. He did miss a TD, though. He ran a really nice double move slant, and he just missed it just barely. I want to say the ball was also tipped at the line, but he also just had to get his hands around quicker. He would have had that touchdown, but that comes with time and chemistry. But overall, I thought T-Mac had a really good day. I saw David Newton write about it, saying T-Mac ran a bad route when he gave his overview of the game on ESPN.com. David, come on now. If you go watch that, if you literally go watch that play, T-Mac ran a great route. He just didn't get his hands up quick enough, honestly. And again, I honestly think the ball was tipped at the line too, which threw it off. But to say it was a bad route, I played receiver in college. I've seen a number of receivers. That wasn't a bad route. It was just a tip ball and a drop pass, if anything. So please use your words carefully on that. Then Xavier Leggett, my man's got DQ'd in a fight with Jenkins from the Browns. And honestly, honestly, I'm going to give it some love because I love that aggression out of Leggett. I love to see that he's being physical now. I don't want to see him get DQ'd. However, I love the passion and the aggression. And so many people, including our own and some in Panther Nation, have been talking so much smack about Leggett from last year into this year, and they automatically are writing him off. So to see him coming out ready to prove a point and to show hey, yo, nah, T-Mac's here, but so am I still. Don't sleep on me. I honestly love that, and I'm all for it. And then lastly, Chuba and Rico didn't get really too much time on the ground. They combined for 6 carries for 17 rush yards, so wasn't really crazy from the first string. That's really what they had there. On the defensive end, here's what we had from my perspective. Defensively, our first string rushing defense was good. Pass defense was solid in my opinion. I felt Corey Thornton had a great showing. I felt Corey had a great showing throughout the game. Made a number of key tackles, including one of my favorites. Well, there it goes. Hold up. Gotta get back to me. One of my favorites was when the Browns ran a reverse, and Corey was able to shed the tackle but stayed home and made a clean open field tackle on the back end for a loss. I loved it. I thought Corey had a phenomenal game, and I just want to give him the praise. And he showed out. He showed out a ton, in my opinion. I like that. Nick Scott, Nick Scott was an issue in both special teams and in coverage. I did not like his play. If I'm being truthful, he was actually the reason for one of our muffed punts that ETN had, and I didn't like that. And overall, second and third string definitely struggled after the starters came out, especially versus the run. We ended up giving a total of 125 rushing yards, and I want to say most of that was after the second string came out, after the first string came out. And then Blackshear and ETN struggled on punt return. Blackshear apparently couldn't see, according to what Steve Smith was saying in the broadcast, like catching punts in that stadium is hard. And you can see Blackshear kind of lost the ball in the lights, couldn't see where he was at. ETN was in a similar situation, but then Nick Scott pushed one of the Browns players into him. And that's why I say Nick Scott is just being a whole liability right now. And so when it comes down to it, where is it? When it comes down to it, my overall notes look like this. One, there were a lot of rookie mistakes on display, but to be honest, that's kind of expected. I would expect rookie mistakes to make mistakes in preseason, so I'm not too upset about that. That just comes with time, repetition, game time reps, so I'm not really too concerned about that. There were several untimed penalties at inopportune times. For example, there was one penalty we had where Bryce thought he got a free offsides penalty, but then we ended up getting a hands to the face penalty on that same play. And so there it is. That was the play to to Coker, and it would have been a really nice catch up the sideline. But because there was a hands to the face penalty, they offset and whatnot. We actually lost yards because hands to the face was worse than the offsides penalty. So that to me was just unfortunate. The offense definitely stalled out after the first string went out off the field. Offense stalled out. I know Andy Dalton, he went 13 of 19 for 101 yards, but he had an interception and no touchdowns. And when you looked at the way that offense was moving, they would make a few plays here and there, but they always stalled out. There was never really a threat, maybe except for one drive, that you thought, okay, they could do something. And then Jake Plummer, he did his thing. He did what he could. And I want to say they did have a chance to, they did end up getting a field goal out of it. So he was able to make a positive drive come out of it. And I'll say that. But overall, after the first string went out, the offense just seemed to kind of just stall out. Going into the next game, I do expect more rushing attempts. But obviously because they're running backs and that's usually wear and tear, I wouldn't do too much. And then I also believe that the defense will have a better showing because more starters will return from injury, so on and so forth. And speaking of returning from injury, here's an injury list that we got to keep an eye out for just throughout the preseason, something just to watch, because I think that's going to make or break a lot of stuff in our year. And injuries to watch. Obviously, we got Derrick Brown. He's coming back from his torn meniscus and that oblique strain, but he is expected to start next week. Hunter Renfrow has his strained hamstring, and that's still kind of day-to-day, week-to-week, seeing how that goes. J.C. Horn, his hand should be good to go starting next week versus Houston. And then Damian Lewis has a shoulder strain, which is why he didn't play on Friday night. And that's being listed as day-to-day, week-to-week. So kind of just keep those. I'm going to keep an eye on those, see what the developments are over the course of the week. Again, Horn and Brown are expected to play next week versus Houston. So I'm not too concerned. However, I understand the concern that some people may have, and those are just a few injuries that I definitely know will have a key impact on parts of the game going forward. And then next, guys, it's been 10 years. It's been 10 years. And because it's been 10 years, Carolina is going to take us back, and we're going to hop in the hot tub time machine and revisit the Carolina Panthers 2015 season. And this month, you'll be able to get to do that. So what Carolina is doing on their YouTube, they are doing a 2015 season rewind where they will do a mini doc on our last Super Bowl run. So kind of looking back at training camp, like the Week 5 game in Seattle, our Thanksgiving game versus Cowboys, especially the NFC title game. They're going to have some interviews with Luke, Ron Rivera, Mike Tolbert, and then also just roundtables about training camp, the season, the impact overall. So if you are still looking for some positives to look forward to or just to remember fondly of, and you're looking for Carolina Panthers content that will remind you of the last great time that Carolina was awesome or at least was making a Super Bowl run, be on the lookout for their YouTube. They'll have those up for you. I'm probably going to watch a few episodes myself. But if you're like me, sometimes looking back, knowing how it ends, it just hurts. It just hurts, man. Like, knowing how the season ends and knowing how great that team was and how it all just ends, it sucks. It's like knowing the ending to knowing the ending to a great story, but you know the ending is not the good ending. You know you're not getting the good ending. But you want to relive that journey, and then the letdown just, it hurts, man. And then also, got to go with the Panther Phreeze frame of the day. And to be honest, I had a number of choices. But I don't think y'all be accepting if I didn't choose this one. Hey, like I said, Leggett had a chip on his shoulder. He was not there to play. The only reason, like, if you watch the video, it looks worse than what it is. But Leggett actually stole off on Jenkins like a few times. And I was like, oh, okay. He's not playing. He's not playing. So I absolutely loved it. I thought it was awesome. I know we're not supposed to condone violence on the channel and things like that. Hey, man, when you talk that talk, sometimes you got to get punched in the mouth. It just happens. It just happens. Freedom of speech does not mean freedom of consequences. I'm telling y'all. And lastly, guys, it is time for your favorite portion of the video. Here we go. It is time for Panther Nation to speak their truth. And the first comment we got up here, man, comes from Ramblin' Muse. He says, I'd rather see the defense step up and show out. Defense wins games, offense sells tickets. And I've already bought my tickets. If Bryce starts the season like he finished, he doesn't even need to get better. Because if Eddie didn't miss kicks and the defense was even a tad better, there were several games we would have won. So let's go defense and pray for a good kicking game. Hey, I mean, he not wrong. He not wrong. I want Bryce to get better, but we all got to admit that Bryce balled out the end of last year. And if Eddie doesn't miss kicks and our defense holds water, especially against like the Eagles and the Chiefs, and there are a number of games we do win. There are several games that we do win, so I see where he's coming from there. But we probably wouldn't have been as high to get T-Mac, so it kind of balances out. Next comes from Wano Wanderer 780. He says, I agree with you. I would rather have the offense show out throughout the entire preseason because I know if we don't get injured, then the defense is going to be good, and I'll be watching the preseason game with you, so let's hope we win and keep pounding. Hey, man, I hope you was in the Discord with me. Hope you had a blast. Could you hear everything? Was everything good and whatnot like that? Hope I was able to be a good party if you could hear me and stuff like that. But, yeah, I just want the offense to look smooth heading into everything. I want everybody to get the rust off, get the chemistry down. And honestly, for the first string offense, it looked like everything was clicking in my mind. And then lastly comes from, Omnivore the Absoluthian. Absoluthian? I'm going to make sure I said that right. Simply says, I am excited. And honestly, even though the score says 30-10 and it looks bad, X, Y, and Z, I'm actually very excited for how the Panthers look. We clean up the second string. I honestly am not too worried. We get some people back from injury. I'm not too worried, if I'm being completely honest with y'all. I do say we need to go ahead and put Jimmy back there for punt and kick return. I'm going to just go ahead. I know some people are like, hey, give it some time. He's going to be there. But that's just me. That's just me. And also, just because I do want to see this young man do well, shout out to Shedeur Sanders. Had a great game. Happy to see the young man ball out, especially with all the negativity that he has been getting unnecessarily as of late. I'm glad he balled out and did his thing. I sucks it was against us, but I'm glad he balled out and did his thing, and I hope he continues to do so for the preseason. But with all that being said, guys, thank you for watching this video. Please make sure to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell at the bottom so you're always notified of when these videos are dropping next. Comment below and let me know, what were your thoughts on the game, and what did you think were the highs and the lows of the game? What injury are you actually most concerned about heading throughout the preseason? And lastly, let me know, are you going to be revisiting the 2015? Are you going to rewatch some of the 2015 rewind that the Carolina Panthers are doing and everything else? And how do you feel going into next week versus Houston? Let me know in the comment section below, because at the end of the day, what do I know? I'm just a skinny brother with two tats. Peace. Much love to all you Panthers. Take care. Later days. And as always, keep pounding. I'll see you next time.